video, we're just going to solidify what you learned in class about solving quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. So here we have a quadratic equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are numbers. And the quadratic formula says that we can find the solutions to this, the x values that will give us 0 as a solution, by doing negative b, or the opposite of the b, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So this is really just like a map or a recipe. And all you need to put in are the values of the b and the a and the c in the appropriate spot in the formula. So it's important that you can remember that formula. I'm not much of a singer, so I'll play this off of YouTube here.
X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.
So now let's go do an example. All right, so here is my equation, 2x squared minus 3x equals 5. And we're going to solve it using our quadratic formula. But like you learned in class, you need to get this equal to 0 first. So we need to subtract 5 from both sides. Now that we have it all ready to go, we identify our a, our b, and our c, and we're simply just going to go plug them into the formula. We're going to say x is equal to negative 3, or the opposite of negative 3, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So we just need to plop that b in there and then square it. Minus 4 times a times c. So in goes a, in goes c, all over 2 times a. Now we really just need to do the arithmetic, and we're going to focus on what's under that root first. It's going to get a special name later in your math courses. So under that root, we have a 9, as we do negative 3 times negative 3. Important to know that it'll always be a positive number leading that square root under there, because whenever we square anything, we get a positive. So one of the biggest mistakes is kids will say that's negative 9. Never, never, never lead with a negative under that root. And then we have a plus 40, because 4 times 2 is 8, but then 8 times 5 is 40, and those two negatives make a positive. So under that root, we really have 9 plus 40, which is a nice 49. And I say a nice 49 because we know what the square root of 49 is. On the bottom, we have 2 times 2, which is 4. So like I said, the square root of 49 is nice. It's just a 7. So we're just going to do 3 plus or minus the square root of 49, which is 7, all over 4. So now we'll deal with that plus or minus. Let's do the plus first. We'll do 3 plus 7, which is 10, over 4. So when we reduce that, we'll get 5 over 2, or equivalently 2.5. Now we'll deal with the minus. We'll do 3 minus 7, all over 4. 3 minus 7 is a negative 4, all over 4. And when I reduce that, I get a nice negative 1. So my solutions to the quadratic equation are 5 over 2 and negative 1. Don't lose track of what those are. Remember, we talked about the solutions are on the graph of y equals 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. They're those x-intercepts, and we can see at 2.5 and negative 1 that parabola is crossing the x-axis.